What the haters talking about?
What's up, family? A Memphis area psychiatrist has been forced to close her doors and may lose her medical license for good after it was discovered that she spanked 10 of her patients with whips and riding crops and compared them to mules. Dr. Valerie Louise Augustus, who had led Christian psychiatry services in the Memphis suburb of Germantown for 17 years, was found to have used a riding crop, a thin whip normally used to strike horses, on the buttocks of a patient in 2015, according to Tennessee medical discipline documents that were made public Friday. The patient, who had a history of physical abuse, was suffering from depression and struggling with suicidal thoughts, documents state. State officials' investigation also found that Augustus had made contact with other mental health patients with a riding crop, whip, or other object, and kept both the riding crop and the whip displayed in her office. She also compared her patients to mules, the documents state. At least some medical students saw Augustus hit her patients. The Tennessee Board of Medical Examiners suspended Augustus's license after finding no evidence in the psychiatric literature for using whips or riding crops as an effective part of treatment. The suspension is for no less than 60 days starting in June. To get her license back, Augustus will be required to take a 2-day class on medical ethics, boundaries, and professionalism and be cleared by the Vanderbilt Comprehensive Assessment Program, which examines professionals who are having emotional or behavioral issues in the workplace. The bad doctor was also fined $10,000. $1,000 for each person she struck. Let me think about that. $1,000 is striking somebody spanking style worth $1,000. Let me think about it. If somebody hit me for $1,000 spanking. See, I ain't with that. I ain't with that kind of freakiness, man. Don't be hitting me. And you ain't finna hit me with no whip. Damn sure ain't hit me with no whip. Principal's paddle, principal board, none of that. Man, I ain't with all of that now. I ain't with that love hurt stuff. $1,000 though, I'm sure some of those people were getting off on it. Some of them were in agreement. But ultimately, you got to think about it like this. Those people were vulnerable because they're coming in there because they had these issues, right? And they're coming in there and she's a professional and they're trusting her. And she violated that trust, right? So, how do you deal with that? Seems like to me that they're not really going too hard on her. Like, they're basically saying, hey, 60-day suspension. You take a little old course or whatever, and you back in the door. I don't think that they're gonna take her license away from her for good. I don't think. Now, let's go a little deep on this. Let's think about this thing. We have a psychiatrist who violated ethical and medical rules. This is a psychiatrist who has the word Christian in her business, and she violates ethical and medical rules in a red state. Why am I not surprised? I am a little baffled though why she wasn't arrested. Because that seemed kind of criminal. Okay, you beating on your patients. That's criminal, right? Beating on patients? some of it was freaky, y'all know. Some of it was freaky. Some of it was, I do believe some people were like in on it. They was cool with it, but others was like, not so. I think they were just basically taking advantage of. And so I think that, you know, like people that are put in those type of positions should be held accountable for their actions. I don't think you should be able to get a position like that and, you know, take advantage of people. I don't believe in that. I think that she absolutely abused her authority. She preyed on the vulnerable. And I would say she should go to prison, but when I really think about it, people who are in professional positions with authority, people who people should look up to, who serve the public, who gets an automatic pass for trust from the public, typically when they do wrong, they don't get fired. They get suspended with pay. So, send her home, suspended with pay, and let her binge watch, I don't know, some episodes of Cops. You know, trying to get her in a lane that she can relate to, you know, where, you know, they do the same thing she do, and she can relate to them, they can relate to her. They're both prominent members of society who has violated the public trust. There is some type of camaraderie there. They can relate to each other, you know, birds of a feather, you know, all that type of stuff. You know what I be thinking sometimes? Like, I know a lot of cops watch my show, right? And I know, like, you know, some of the cops, I'm cool with some cops, believe it or not. But the other ones, I'm talking about the ones that be watching me just to, you know, like, be sitting there eating that popcorn. Like, they be mad. Boy, I know they mad as hell. They mad, but can't do nothing about it. No more talk.
What the haters talking about?